Just outside the campus of Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, is the Pi Kappa Phi House.
Here we are now in the room where Duncan was actually killed. As rumor has it, he was kneeling down over here on the floor during a paddling incident, and he accidentally looked up and got hit on the back of the head with the paddle. Well, after the blow to the head, the blood supposedly came over and hit this wall, and ever since then has been seeping through red, so we thought maybe wallpaper would cover it up. Well, after we wallpapered it, still didn't work. You could see blood outlines, and we actually saved some of that when we tore it down, and this is what we call our blood ball. This used to be a completely beige wallpaper, and now you can see how the red has come through.
Larry Keller had a late-night encounter with Duncan.
One night, sitting in here brushing my teeth with another guy in the house, getting ready for bed, doing the normal chit-chat stuff, whatever guys do before they go to bed. We used to have a fan in this corner over here, and we had different lights that had outlets, and on the last outlet, the fan was hooked up, and we had it going, usually to air out the room. Well, in this particular instance, we're brushing our teeth, and the fan turns on by itself. Goes for about 15 seconds on high. Next thing you know, it shuts off. We come over to investigate, and the fan is in the off position the entire time. And in about the same amount of time that it would take someone to walk from the fan over to the door slams. That's my closest encounter with Duncan.
The night of the fire is still fresh in Joel Pickering's mind.
When Duncan woke me up during the fire, I saw him walk by the bed. So then I jumped up and looked down at the bed, which I could see smoke was just rolling up out of this. And to this day, I believe it was Duncan that saved our lives.
Sergio Lopez lived in the house for 3 years.
A fraternity brother of mine was sleeping in that bunk right there. One night when he heard the door open, he heard somebody walk up the steps, walk across the aisle, hearing the floor squeak. He swears he didn't see anybody. He believes it was Duncan. And to this day, my friend refuses to come up here.
Occasionally, the members of Pi Kappa Phi go in search of Duncan.
Oh, great and mystifying Ouija. Is there a spirit here with us now? A couple of guys got up on the table and sat Indian style and had the board between them and tried to call Duncan. Well, nothing was happening. We couldn't figure out why. And not till after that, we found out somebody had a Bible in the room. And as soon as he left, it started working. We said, what's your name? And he spelled out Duncan. And every time we'd say his name and try and call him, the wind would start howling and our candles would start flickering. It was pretty rough there after we played Ouija. It really put in a lot of guys' minds that he is real and he is here in the house. And it really makes you wonder, you know, he could be sitting right here next to me and I wouldn't even know it.
At a reunion of the Phi Gamma Deltas who occupied the house in the 1970s and 80s, it was clear that Duncan had been haunting the house for years.
Granted, it is an old house, but when you hear doors closed that are supposed to be locked, coffee cups falling off the shelves, we don't have an explanation of what happened, but something happened.
To this day, Duncan continues to haunt the frat house, his spirit stuck somewhere between the living and the world of peaceful souls.
I have no idea what exactly his purpose is. As far as I know, he likes it here.
A grand tour of America's most haunted people, places, and things when real ghosts return.
The enemy is here.
All over the nation, people are on a ghost watch. In Connecticut, a family say they were terrorized by a malevolent ghost. A ghost who focused his demonic attentions on the children. It all began when the Macaulay family moved into their suburban dream home.
I felt like there was a presence. Somebody was watching me.
She goes, something is watching me, it's touching me, I can feel it.
The phone used to ring at all hours. And you'd pick up the phone and it would be just static, so you start to wonder what really is going on.
Soon the terror began to escalate.
We would all see things together. The children would see things. We would all sit there as a family and see these things together. So we're all not becoming mentally ill at once.
The Macaulays are convinced that a demonic spirit was terrorizing their two children.
He was like telling me to hate God, don't trust my parents, they're liars, God's evil and stuff like that.
The nightmare continued, and the Macaulays realized their children's lives were at stake.
And one time my son, he woke up and he started yelling for us, and you could see his arm extended ahead of him, and he was being dragged across the floor by something you couldn't see.
One afternoon, the ghost went too far.
The man told me to go out the window and hang there, and I really trusted him, so I listened to him and I did it.
And all I could see was the fingertips of my son hanging out the second-story window.
The Macaulays went for help. But even after an exorcist visited their home, they still decided to move out. Today, they run a support group for other people terrorized by ghosts.
People ask us, what credentials do you have? We said we had 5 years of on-the-job training.
In North Arlington, New Jersey, a family was being terrorized by the ghost of their murdered daughter. It all began when Tony Euling's teenage daughter, Lisa, joined a street gang. After she decided to quit the gang, she disappeared.
After several days, I get a call from police detectives from Newark that they wanted to speak to me. They came over and they said they had found the body of an unidentified white girl. And sure enough, it was my daughter.
She was a very loving and a very caring person. Why they want to do something like this to her, I'll never know.
At the same moment that her body was found, her father saw her ghost.
I seen my daughter appear to me, face to face. She came to me in about 6 seconds, it faded and it came back.
A few days later, as Tony tried to sleep, an apparition appeared, and Tony was forced to fight for his life.
Something was choking me around my neck and hit me over the head with something. I don't know what it was. I wanted to let out a scream, but I couldn't scream.
Terrified, Tony arranged a seance with a professional medium and soon discovered just who was haunting their home. Not his daughter, but her killer, a man murdered in a bar fight shortly after he committed his crime.
He says, I'm sorry that I helped kill your daughter. I didn't mean to do it. Will you forgive me for what I did?
Tony forgave him, and the hauntings ended. Lisa's mother is certain that her daughter is finally at rest.
I says, I think God loaned me an angel for about 20 years. And then he decided he wanted her back. So, I mean, I can't question what God wants.
And the Eulings' advice for other people faced with real ghosts?
Don't be afraid of them. See what they want. Sometimes they come to you to protect you or to tell you how much they love you.
Finally, in Atwater, California, a World War II bomber still flies on a ghostly mission, piloted by a friendly ghost named Arthur.
We started getting calls in this area about people seeing lights and things on in the aircraft. We could see in the cockpit area up here, it was kind of like a glow.
One of the prize aircraft in the Castle Air Museum is this vintage B-29 bomber. Soon after it arrived at the museum in 1981, people began to hear strange noises and see locked doors opening and closing. And then a ghostly figure dressed in a brown flight jacket began to appear.
It made you feel like, man, I want to get out of here. I'm scared. You know, I didn't want to just take off running and if somebody saw me like, hey, what's this guy, nuts or what?
Eyewitness after eyewitness reported the same phenomena. And finally, after an exhaustive check of records, it was discovered that a crew member had been killed on board the aircraft. Apparently, he refuses to leave.
His purpose is to be guardian angel of the museum.
To the people who work there, Arthur is welcome to stay, as long as he wants. It is said that when a house is built on haunted ground, ghosts will linger within. Few of us ever check the history of our property, even though it might hold a dark secret.
Come on, darling. Let's get this over with. Die game and die hard, it's your choice. this offering.
When Bobby Mackey and his young wife were looking to start a country western club,
Well, darling, here we are.
they weren't concerned about the past, just the future.
Is this great or what?
Hey, baby, it's great.
Come here. Now we get one of the mechanical bulls and put it right over there. This bar, we can use this for the bar. Great. It's a little messy right now, but I'll get it fixed up. Oh, just, I think get a couple pool tables and put them over here. And then, it's bright lights and country music.
Every journey starts with a single step. My mama told me that. And that spring day when I first saw the club, I thought we'd taken a step in the right direction. Well, I was wrong.
All the folks are dancing down here. Yours truly will be right here where he belongs, in the spotlight. Yeah, I'm okay. No wonder this place is so cheap.
No. That ain't the only reason.
Excuse me?
Name's Carl. You must be Bobby Mackey.
How'd you know my name?
Oh, well, it's no secret you're moving in. I just thought I'd roll out the welcome wagon and sign up on a list in case you're hiring.
Well, let's talk later. Oh, this is my wife, Janet.
Meet you.
Hi.
Would you folks like to take a guided tour? This place is sort of a hobby of mine.
Sure. Janet?
Sure.
You know, I could have the power on for you by tomorrow.
That first day, Carl showed us around the place. He knew it like the back of his hand.
Plumbing all over the place. You want to see the basement?
Honey?
Kai.
Ma'am, in your condition, I'd stay up here.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Nothing up here bites.
Nothing much. This place used to be a slaughterhouse, Mr. Mackey.
Well, you can call me Bobby.
Lord knows how much blood's been spilled on these floors. Mr. Mackey, don't come down here alone. I don't want you working so hard. Bobby's got enough help.
Yeah, okay. Carl, you hear something?